Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're completely dismantling some massive fitness myths and giving you a straight-up, science-backed blueprint for building real, undeniable muscle using just your body weight and things you already have lying around the house. If you've ever felt like you're stuck because you don't have a pricey gym membership, well, prepare to have your perspective totally shifted.
Right off the bat, let's tackle the biggest mental hurdle when it comes to home workouts. We really have to ask ourselves, do we genuinely need a barbell or a massive stack of iron plates to force our muscles to grow? For decades, the fitness industry has basically conditioned us into thinking heavy weights are literally the only way. But modern exercise science, it's telling a radically different story.
Here's the honest truth. Your body actually has absolutely no idea what a high-tech dumbbell is versus, say, a heavy milk jug. It genuinely doesn't know if you're bench pressing a barbell or just pushing the floor away from you during a push-up. Your muscular system solely understands and adapts to one thing, and that's mechanical tension. Whether that tension comes from slapping 45-pound plates onto a bar or just tweaking the leverage and tempo of your own body weight, the biological result is exactly the same.
So here's the exact roadmap we're going to use to get there today. First, we'll hit the science of hypertrophy, then mastering progressive overload, followed by your at-home exercise arsenal. After that, we'll cover proven workout routines, and finally, fueling your recovery. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the science of hypertrophy.
So, what actually makes a muscle grow? Medically, we call this hypertrophy, and it's driven primarily by mechanical tension and metabolic stress. Think of it like this. When you subject your muscles to a really challenging stimulus, that sheer effort and tension forces your body to recruit both your slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers. It kicks off this whole intracellular signaling cascade that basically tells your muscles, hey, we need to get larger and stronger so we can handle this stress next time.
Now, this is where things get really fascinating. Recent research, including a major 2022 review on resistance training loads, proves that low loads, like your standard bodyweight exercises, produce the exact same muscle thickness as lifting heavy gym weights. But there is one massive catch. You absolutely must push the set close to true muscular failure. If you're doing bodyweight squats and you just stop the second it gets a little uncomfortable, you are literally leaving the growth signal on the table.
To guarantee you're actually triggering that growth, you've got to track your effort. And the best way to do that is with a concept called reps in reserve, or RIR. Simply put, this is just the number of extra reps you could possibly crank out with good form before your muscles totally give out. For these low-load home workouts, you need to aim for 0 to 1 reps in reserve on most of your working sets. The reps are going to be higher, the burn is going to be intensely awful, but I promise you, that specific level of effort is exactly what builds the muscle.
Moving right along to Section 2, mastering progressive overload.
If you don't have plates to add, how do you keep getting stronger? Well, you turn your own body into an adjustable machine. You systematically increase the difficulty using physics instead of mass. You can reduce your leverage, like shifting from a tucked front lever to a straight body position. You can change the angle, train unilaterally using just one arm or leg, or even just slash your rest periods between sets. Let's look at time under tension as a perfect example of this. Say a standard push-up is getting way too easy for you. Instead of just doing 50 of them, slow down the lowering phase to 4 full seconds and then hold a brutal 2-second pause at the bottom. Doing that drastically increases metabolic stress and ischemia without adding a single pound of external weight. You're recruiting those high-threshold motor units just by making gravity work way harder against you.
All right, let's get practical. Section 3, your at-home exercise arsenal.
You can actually map all the foundational multi-joint movements to everyday items effortlessly. A horizontal push? That's just a push-up on the floor or a sturdy chair. Need to do some pulling? Set up an inverted row by pulling yourself up from underneath a sturdy dining table. And for knee-dominant leg exercises, if your body weight isn't cutting it, grab a heavily packed suitcase or a loaded backpack and use it for a weighted split squat. Honestly, your home is already a fully equipped gym if you look at it right.
Now, a quick note on the lower body. Because your legs are so incredibly strong, standard air squats are eventually going to fail to give you enough mechanical tension. When that happens, you have to shift to unilateral or single limb variations. Progressing to something like a pistol squat shifts 100% of your body weight onto a single leg. It effectively bypasses the loading limits of your own body weight and skyrockets the tension on your quads and glutes. Okay, Section 4, proven workout routines. If your goal is mastering a really complex skill, like a strict pull-up or a handstand, you definitely need to look into a concept called greasing the groove.
It's this incredible neurological approach originally designed by Soviet Special Forces instructors. You basically practice short, totally perfect sets of your chosen movements sporadically throughout the day. You never take it to failure. This high-frequency, low-fatigue method rapidly builds the skill and the neural pathways you need for immense strength, all without burning out your nervous system.
But for structuring your standard weekly workouts, the push-pull leg split is arguably the absolute gold standard for building a balanced physique. By dividing your training into pushing muscles one day, pulling muscles the next, and then lower body muscles, you comprehensively train your entire body. Plus, it perfectly gives each muscle group a full 48-hour recovery window before you hammer it again.
Which brings us perfectly to our final pillar, Section 5, fueling your recovery.
Because remember, the workout is just a stimulus. The muscle is actually built while you recover. To optimize muscle protein synthesis, you absolutely must hit a daily target of 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And it's not just about hitting that total number by the end of the day, you've got to distribute it evenly in high-quality doses throughout your day. That is what keeps the MTR pathway, which is basically the master switch for muscle growth, actively engaged.
Now, your overall energy balance heavily depends on where you're at in your fitness journey. Experienced athletes usually need a lean bulk, meaning a slight caloric surplus of about 100 to 300 extra calories a day to fuel new growth. But if you're a beginner, or maybe you're returning to fitness after a long break, you can totally achieve body recomposition. That means you can successfully build muscle while losing fat in a mild caloric deficit because your body will actually tap into stored body fat to fuel that energy-expensive process of building new muscle tissue.
And we absolutely can't talk recovery without talking about sleep. Sacrificing sleep directly sabotages your gains. Getting 7 to 9 hours of quality rest per night is totally non-negotiable. This is the exact time when your body releases natural growth hormones and repairs all those micro tears you created during your living room workout. Without sleep, you're literally just breaking your body down without ever building it back up.
So, bringing it all together, the ultimate takeaway here is perfectly captured by exercise science. The master variable for hypertrophy is effort, not absolute weight. If you're willing to push a set of push-ups or inverted table rows until you genuinely have 0 reps in reserve, your muscles have absolutely no choice but to adapt and grow. The equipment just doesn't matter.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Are you going to let a lack of gym equipment hold you back? Or will you harness the science of bodyweight mechanics, tension, and progressive overload to build your ultimate physique right where you are? The blueprint is entirely in your hands. Your living room is your gym, and gravity itself is your resistance. It's time to get to work.